Imagine a country about the size of a small province, filled with militias, Syrian soldiers, Palestinian fighters, Israeli tanks, and United States Marines. That was Lebanon in 1982. And in the middle of that chaos, Israel decided to cross the border and march all the way to Beirut, promising peace for Galilee. What was supposed to be a quick operation turned into a long, controversial war, with consequences that are still felt today. Let's go back to the beginning. Lebanon had been in a full civil war since 1975. Maronite Christians, Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, Druze, every group had its own militias, its own foreign backers, its own neighborhoods and territories. In the south of the country, near the border with Israel, the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization, set up bases. From there, it launched rocket attacks and raids against towns in northern Israel. In 1978, Israel had already crossed the border in an operation called Litani and had taken control of a strip of southern Lebanon, supporting local Christian militias to create a security zone. But the attacks did not stop, and inside the Israeli government, a dangerous idea kept growing. If we want real quiet in the north, we have to go to the heart of the problem, Beirut. In the early 1980s, the Prime Minister of Israel was Menachem Begin, and his Minister of Defense was Ariel Sharon. The official message was simple: push the PLO 40 kilometers north of the border, so their rockets could not reach Israeli cities. But in practice, the plan was much more ambitious. The goals were: destroy the military infrastructure of the PLO in Lebanon, help a Christian leader, Bashir Gemayel, take control of the country and sign peace with Israel, and reshape the balance of power in the Middle East. Sharon believed that a fast, decisive war could reorder Lebanon. The real question was, at what cost? The immediate trigger came in June 1982. In London, attackers tried to assassinate the Israeli ambassador to the United Kingdom. The attack was not directly planned by the PLO, but in Jerusalem, leaders chose to respond as if all roads led back to Beirut. Israel bombed Palestinian positions in Lebanon. The PLO answered with rockets, and on June 6, 1982, Ariel Sharon launched Operation Peace for Galilee. Columns of tanks crossed the border. The Israeli Air Force dominated the sky. Christian Lebanese militias advanced alongside Israeli troops. Very quickly, the limit of those 40 kilometers disappeared in practice. The Israeli army was clearly moving toward Beirut, the capital. On the way, Israel was not only fighting the PLO, it was also clashing with Syrian forces deployed inside Lebanon. In the Bekaa Valley, large air battles took place, Israeli jets against Syrian aircraft and dense Syrian air defenses. The idea of a simple border policing operation turned into a mini regional war. Within a few weeks, the Israeli army surrounded West Beirut, where the PLO and hundreds of thousands of Palestinian and Lebanese civilians were concentrated. A siege began. Artillery bombardments, airstrikes, entire neighborhoods destroyed. Images of collapsed buildings and devastated streets circulated around the world. International pressure increased. The United States, France, and other countries started to mediate because nobody wanted to see all of Beirut turned into rubble. After weeks of siege, an agreement was reached. Under international protection, the PLO agreed to leave Beirut. In August 1982, Yasser Arafat and thousands of Palestinian fighters boarded ships to Tunisia and other Arab countries. Israel's original goal, expelling the PLO from Lebanon, seemed to be achieved. But the war still had one of its darkest chapters ahead. A few days later, the new Lebanese president, Bashir Gemayel, an ally of Israel, was killed in an explosion. In response, Christian Phalangist militiamen entered the Palestinian refugee camps of Sabra and Shatila in West Beirut, while the Israeli army controlled the perimeter of the area. For several days, those militiamen carried out a massacre against Palestinian and Lebanese civilians. The exact number of dead is still debated, but the images and testimonies caused horror across the world. Inside Israel, tens of thousands of people took to the streets. An official commission, the Kahan Commission, concluded that the Israeli army bore indirect responsibility for not preventing the massacre. Ariel Sharon was forced to resign as Minister of Defense. The war that was supposed to bring peace for Galilee left a deep moral wound in Israeli society. Even after the PLO left Beirut, Israel did not immediately pull out of Lebanon. It stayed in the south of the country, maintaining a security zone with the help of local militias for nearly 2 decades. In that occupied zone, a new actor grew stronger: Hezbollah, a Shia movement backed by Iran, built largely as a response to the Israeli presence. Lebanon turned into the stage for a slow, grinding war. Ambushes, roadside bombs, sporadic exchanges of fire. In Israel, public opinion grew tired. The question, "What are we still doing in Lebanon?" became louder and louder. It was not until the year 2000 that Israel finally withdrew its troops from most of southern Lebanon. But by then, the political map of the region looked very different than that of 1982.